Paltrocast.
Sophie, good morning. Thank you for taking the time. How's your day going aside from, doing media, answering the same questions over and over and over again?
A little crazy. There's actually a massive snowstorm in Montreal, and I woke up with no electricity in my house, which and I knew I had this coming up, so it was a bit of a hectic morning, but I'm here and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. We were connected because you have a new film, that kind of a thing. And being based on a true story, how much research did you do before showing up to the first day of the set? Because, sometimes you want to know everything, and then sometimes you just want to know what does the director want and what does the script look like?
I think in terms of Irena, I really wanted to know as much as possible because I knew she'd led such an incredible life, and obviously she's a real life person, and so it felt just right to do the good amount of research to be able to portray her properly and to bring justice to her story as well. And I knew her daughter was going to watch it and people that she knew, which was very overwhelming. But I was very lucky to find archives of her in her 60s and pictures of her in her 20s. I had a great dialect coach who helped me with the Polish accent, and and then the director Louise, who I knew before coming onto this project because we were supposed to work together on something. I knew she had a great vision for this film, and so I felt in very good hands.
A lot to unpack there. The Polish accent, was that a lot of work, or are accents a strong point for you at this point?
We started like a month beforehand. Um, it helped that I was shooting in Poland where people have that accent, and I don't know, I feel like I lock it down pretty easily, but I definitely have to take a good amount of prep time beforehand so that it just feels like second nature and that I can go back and forth pretty easily. But it's fun. I love playing around with accents.
Is it more about the vowels than learning the actual grammar or language?
Yeah, it's more about there's always these like with every accent there's like these little codes. So in Polish it's let's say they can't really pronounce THs, so it's not like think, it'll be like think.
Oh
It'll
yeah.
go to an F. Um or it's the same with like they can't do ing, so it's not like drinking, it's drinking. It like finishes with a K. So there's all these little tiny codes that the dialect coach will teach you, and then you just incorporate them in your sentences.
Had you been to Poland before working on this film?
No.
Got it. How long does it take for you to acclimate when you're going to a new country? Because there's time differences, there's local language differences, there's food differences. Are you the kind of person that goes, get me there a week early? I need to sleep off the lag?
Yeah, I think the jet lag is the hardest part, but the rest is just fun for me. It's one of my favorite parts of my job is to be able to travel. And so whenever I get to shoot in a different country, I'm so excited to be able to actually be there for an extensive period of time because that's when I feel like you learn truly what the community over there is like. And then you get properly immersed in the city. And so I was very excited. But yes, I always try if it's for a shoot, then I always try to get there like a week beforehand so I can get over the jet lag so I'm not crazy tired when we start shooting.
So something you called out earlier was Irena's daughter was involved in this film and is actually doing press in support of the film. Was she on the set the whole time?
She was not actually.
Got it. Was she a source for the script or just kind of read it after the fact?
I am not sure. I think she read it after the fact. I think um Dan Gordon, who is the writer of the script, it was really his
Mhm.
kind of project, and I don't think he really consulted Irena's daughter. I actually did not even know about the daughter until like way later on. Um, and so we kind of shot the movie separately, and then she came on more towards like post-production and now is like in full force with promoting the movie and spreading the message.
Oh, great to hear. Again, to have the family endorsement. Sometimes there's not necessarily a biopic, but sometimes the family isn't on board and there's the feud, and then that overshadows the whole thing. In this case, not happening. And in terms of Dan Gordon, had you known Dan before being cast in this role?
I no, I did not.
Got it. Traditional audition situation where they knew your work from Yellowjackets?
I believe they knew my work. I got offered the script, the role directly, and I knew Louise, and so that obviously helped that we both known each other, knew each other beforehand, and so when they offered it to me, I was immediately interested because I knew she was going to be a part of it.
Right. Now, you mentioned before you're dialing in from Montreal. Do a lot of things film out there by you these days? Because most of these junkets I do, you find out that it was made in North Carolina, Vancouver, Louisiana, but never New York or LA.
Never New York, yeah, and barely anything shoots in New York or LA. Yellowjackets is actually shot in Vancouver. There's a lot that shoots up in Toronto. I would say that everything that's TV is mostly in Vancouver, and then movies and are mostly in Toronto or Montreal because Montreal does have that very European feel, New York feel as well a little. And so yeah, there's definitely a lot of bigger American projects that are shot down here.
Is there anywhere you haven't shot yet that you're still hoping that they'll go, yeah, come make some money and work here?
New York, actually, New York is one of them. I wish I could
Oh,
be paid to go live in New York for like a few months. Um, I've already shot in England, but I would love to go back now that I'm a little bit older. Australia, New Zealand. Sometimes they shoot things there, and I would love to be able to spend some time in New Zealand.
got it. So going through your IMDb, because for some of us that's the Bible. You go, okay, let's see where they're at. We see that this movie is done, but Yellow Jackets is upcoming. A couple things are upcoming. Are you allowed to say what's next, where we'll be able to see you next, or is it all Irena's vow forever and ever? That is the last project forever.
I mean, hopefully not. That would be very sad for me. No, we're about to go shoot the third season of Yellowjackets, so that will be coming out beginning of next year, I believe, hopefully. And then I have a horror movie directed by Corin Hardy that we finished shooting a few months ago that should be coming out in the fall of this year.
So you are really hard to pigeonhole in terms of genres. You can't just go, "Oh, Sophie's in that. It's going to be a comedy. Oh, it's going to be a drama." You're protecting yourself in a good way where we can't just hear you're in the thing and then we go, "We know exactly what kind of film that is." Is that by design at this point in your career?
Not really. I mean, I definitely try to pick as many diverse roles as possible. I want my career to be very diverse and have a lot of different kinds of characters because I think that's what's fun and I love to play characters that get me out of my comfort zone. I find that I've been mostly doing drama and I would love to be able to do more comedy. I would love to try a rom-com. I would love to one of my bigger dreams is to be in like a Marvel movie because of gymnastics. I come from a very athletic
Yes.
background. So anything that's action, I find that always very fun. And yeah, but then my roots are very much so indie movies. And so to be able to juggle between bigger studio projects and indie movies is kind of the dream.
So it sounds like if you got cast in a rom-com set in New York, that would be like, two boxes checked right there. So
Exactly.
so you're
Oh,
working towards hybrid goals in the future.
yeah.
Well, two quick questions and then I let you go. First one is, yes, we know about the gymnastics background. There's a bit about that online. You're steadily working, et cetera, as an actress. But what's the main passion away from performing? Do you have one?
I love baking. Yeah, it's I would I don't want to say I'm a great cook, but I do love anything that's like cooking, baking, anything that's food related. Going out to restaurants, trying new restaurants, it is like my favorite activity. And I've always said that if I wasn't an actress, I'd probably have my own little bakery and make cupcakes and cookies for people.
This isn't the last question, but every person I've ever spoken with related to Yellow Jackets, none of them have ever said sports. It seems like the least sports oriented set for a sports related project there is.
This is true. Based on our soccer training that we did in the first season, I have never seen such unathletic people. Aside from maybe some of the girls are, but some of the girls are like very like Sophie Thatcher is the most artistic human being ever, which I admire so much about her. But she's just like, yeah, we're very different in that way. She creates, but she's not great at like running and sprinting. And I think it is great that they've cut out all of the soccer performances because we did not look like professional athletes at all.
It reminds me of any time you have a movie where you have actors playing a band and you want to keep the guitar away from the hands on the guitar because they haven't figured out how to strum like a normal person. So
Yeah.
I get it. And last question, speaking of music, what's the last concert that you went to for fun?
Oh, I went to see was it Elderbrook? There's this festival in Montreal that's like in the snow and it's outside and it's during winter and everyone goes in like ski gear. And I believe that it was Elderbrook that played and that was really fun.
Wow. Okay. I have some homework to do. I have to check out a festival and the groups that we're talking about here. But Sophie, thank you for your time. Congrats on Arena's vow and looking forward to whatever is next, even if it's not a rom com.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Paltrocast.